All right, well, today was an interesting day. I woke up wondering, what am I going to talk about today at my job? What is the biggest news in sports? Like, what is going on right now that LSU sports fans, LSU football fans care about? And I didn't really know what that would be until, 10:30, 11 o'clock this morning rolls around, and you open up X, you open up social media, and what do you see? Mike Denbrock reportedly leaving LSU to go back to Notre Dame, where he's previously coached and nearby where he's from. And I was absolutely shocked. I was like, what? Mike Denbrock, the offensive coordinator? I don't think any of us saw this coming. Of course, the guy that led LSU to the number one scoring offense, the number one total offense, number one yards per play offense, pretty much any offensive statistic this year. We all know this by now. LSU was the best at it. And Mike Denbrock was the guy that was leading that charge, that coached Jaden Daniels, that coached this record-setting explosive offense. He's gone. He's leaving for Notre Dame. He was trying to get a contract finalized with LSU after Texas A&M showed a lot of interest in maybe bringing him in to be their offensive coordinator with coaching turnover they've got going on there with Mike Elko and whatnot. That didn't ever get done. They had talks of agreeing verbally to a contract, but it was never finalized. And now you lose Denbrock to Notre Dame. Maybe it was part of Denbrock wanting to go back towards home. Maybe it was just not getting enough money for his worth at LSU. We don't exactly know what it is, but he's gone, and that's a massive loss for LSU. Probably not the coordinator we thought would be leaving this program this offseason. Of course, talking about Matt House, the defensive coordinator. However, let's look towards this ReliaQuest Bowl coming up in a few weeks between LSU and Wisconsin as a glimpse into the future, as an opportunity for growth for the future, because now you've got two new offensive coordinators co-opting, if you will, working together as one. Joe Sloan, the quarterback's coach, Cortez Hankton, the wide receivers coach, and the passing game coordinator, the co-OCs for the bowl game. And I think that was a great decision. Sloan has spent 9 seasons at Louisiana Tech coaching there, the quarterbacks, pretty much recruiting, all of it, right? So he's a very coveted piece to this coaching staff. Coach Jaden Daniels the past 2 seasons. A great year last year, even better this season, of course, won the Heisman Trophy. Can he develop more as a play caller, as a coach? Is he ready to fit into this position? We'll find out, but it's a good opportunity given to him by Coach Kelly to see what he's got. And then Cortez Hankton is, I think, perfect for this role. As I said, has been the passing game coordinator for 2 years, came from Georgia, previously at Vanderbilt. Everywhere this guy went, he had the Midas touch. Like, he would turn their offense, at least the wide receivers, into a golden room. And he's done that at LSU. Keyshawn Booty, Malik Neighbors, just a couple of guys, Brian Thomas Jr., a couple of the guys that he's already developed here at LSU. And yeah, Denbrock was the OC. This guy was the passing game coordinator. So he was very involved in those conversations. He was very involved in the scheme, in what LSU wanted to do to attack defenses from a passing standpoint. And then they also said Frank Wilson, the running backs coach, will be involved with these guys in terms of what do we want to do with the running game. So I think this is a great decision. I like what Cortez Hankton could bring to this offense, and I'm excited to see what he can do with this bowl game. Joe Sloan sat down with our sports director, Jacques Doucet, recently before the Heisman Trophy ceremony, and one of the biggest themes that I gathered from what he was talking about was cohesion. This past offseason, the staff on the offensive side pretty much all back, right? Denbrock. A lot of the offensive players, the key pieces to that side of the ball. So they didn't have to learn a new system. They could just tweak it, fine-tune it, and focus on the things that they struggled with from last year, specific things. And that's part of what led to the explosion that we saw this year. So cohesion. I think that's the theme for this group, and I think that should be the theme for Brian Kelly. Rather than bringing in an outside offensive coordinator, I think what the sentiment in the room seems to be is let's try to keep as much in-house as we can. Let's try to keep this thing together as best we can. And in that case, you're not going to have 2 offensive coordinators. Nobody really does that these days. You do have guys that coordinate the passing game, guys that do the run game, stuff like that. I think Cortez Hankton, though, is a great pick to be the offensive coordinator. And then Joe Sloan can still certainly be involved because he has been in those conversations, been in the meeting rooms the past 2 years, right? And they all together have put together the product that we saw this past year. So cohesion and retention. I think that's the theme with this offense. I want to see how much of that shows up on the field in this bowl game. But if you're making a decision on offensive coordinator, why not Cortez Hankton? He's got a great track record, great resume, and was very, very involved in the X's and O's the past 2 years on that offense. And how about the guy that they'll be coaching, Garrett Nussmeier? He's worked with Coach Sloan for the past 2 years, right? Last season, this season. They've gotten to know each other pretty well. Can Garrett Nussmeier show that he can be the future of this LSU quarterback room? Can he show that he is the quarterback of the future? He's coming into this game the undeniable, unquestioned starter. Jaden Daniels is opting out. Garrett Nussmeier is going to play. He's going to take the first snap, probably going to take the last snap unless LSU blows them out and we see Ricky Collins or whoever else, right? Wisconsin's got a great defense. Number 31 in the country in total defense, number 18 in scoring defense. So this is a legitimate opportunity to see a guy get a trial run. Go and play a great defense. Let's see what you can do in a situation where you know you're going to be the starter. It's different from that Georgia game in the SEC championship, right? He came into the game, had nothing to lose. He was letting it rip, just throwing it left, throwing it right, throwing picks, but throwing touchdowns, just uncorking the football, not really caring where it ended up because LSU was kind of getting blown out at the time that he came into the game. And he played well, he did. But what will the mentality switch mean, knowing he's the starter, knowing that this game is on his shoulders, and it's not a nothing-to-lose situation. It's everything to gain. It's gaining the starting quarterback job. It's gaining the upper hand in what will be a QB battle against Ricky Collins and against A.J. Swan, who just transferred in from Vanderbilt. So great opportunities here. Joe Sloan, Cortez Hankton, everybody else in the offensive coaching staff, and for Garrett Nussmeier. Go show us why you should be quarterback one next season, right? And then finally, can Matt House and this defense show any improvement? He hasn't been fired. He hasn't been let go. Again, this isn't the coordinator we thought would be fired or, would leave the program like Mike Denbrock did. He's still here. And we got some shots of him speaking with Coach Kelly. It seems like those guys are planning on staying together in the future. And look, Wisconsin's got a terrible offense, number 75 in the country in total offense, 99th in scoring. So, and they played in the Big Ten West. So they can't score. They're not really any good. On paper, LSU should eat these guys up. On paper, LSU should dominate. A couple guys that are playing, Tanner Mordecai, their quarterback that started the season, got injured, does plan to play in this game. So that's a lift for them. But Braylon Allen, who is an All-American caliber running back, has opted out for the draft. Chimere Dike, one of their best wide receivers, he's not going to play. So, it's the Wisconsin offense for the most part. They got the quarterback. They're not good to begin with, but I just want to say they are missing a few pieces in this game. But can this D-line play better with Mekhi Wingo back? Can Whit Weeks, Greg Penn, show what we want to see next year from those linebackers? Can this cornerback room, can the secondary show any kind of improvement? Can they cover one-on-one? Can they cover man-to-man? Can they make tackles in space? Can we just see a glimmer of hope at the end of what is right now a dark tunnel from this LSU defense against what is a very run-heavy, non-potent, non-explosive Wisconsin offense? I'm excited to see all of those things. Let's see what Joe Sloan, Cortez Hankton cook up on offense. Let's see if Garrett Nussmeier can settle in, show us he's going to be QB1 in 2024. And God almighty, can we see if this LSU defense can be any better than it showed us most Saturdays this season. It's all coming up in the ReliaQuest Bowl on New Year's Day, January 1st in Tampa Bay. We'll have coverage. Should be a great game.